Now, let's be real for a sec. Have you ever thought about this one-star servant? We've all rolled this one too many times but barely touched. Mata Hari, our trusty one-star from the Friend Point Gacha. She's one of only 2 female servants under 2 stars. And yeah, you get her easily. But here's the thing. Mata Hari has become more of a running gag in the fandom. Despite the early buzz around her, over time, she's evolved into the ultimate fandom punchline. An assassin that just can't seem to catch a break. Mata Hari is a specialist debuffer with niche appeal, designed to charm and weaken enemies. But in a game full of overpowered options, I feel like her damage output is almost non-existent. At least if you didn't grail her or put any modification in her deck. For me, she's literally there to charm enemies, then disappear when the real fights begin. Sure, she's useful in the right setups, but most players leave her behind due to her squishy stats and limited survivability. Unlike other low-rarity servants like Kojiro or Cursed Arm Hassan, Mata Hari's damage is basically a whisper in the wind, and that's part of why she's become meme fodder over time. Now, since she is rather weak, Mata Hari has long been the target of hope. Players have been begging for her to get a buff, some kind of upgrade, anything. Then, Strengthening Quest Part 13 dropped, and there it was, one elusive bronze assassin card hidden in the announcement. Naturally, fans thought, this is Mata Hari's moment. Finally, her time to shine, right? I think, at that point, she really needed an upgrade to keep players hooked. Well, nope. Instead, Sasaki Kojiro got the upgrade. And while, yeah, Kojiro definitely deserves his own spotlight too, but it was like, come on. Mata Hari's just been chilling at Chaldea, waiting for her chance to do something epic. She's been left in the dust, again. I can imagine the collective sigh from Mata Hari fans everywhere back then. Thankfully, during Rank Up Quest 14, which coincided with the 6th anniversary, Delightworks seemed to finally hear the prayers of Mata Hari fans. They gave her a much-needed upgrade, boosting one of her skills. Her espionage skill, which originally had a rank of A++, was upgraded to the much flashier The Sun Falls on Vincent's at rank EX. To top it off, they added append skills, giving her a bit more utility. Finally, Mata Hari was starting to get the recognition she deserved. Finally, she wasn't just a cute face in the Friend Point Gacha, she had something more to offer. But then, it wasn't too long before that blessing got yanked away even harder. You see, she finally has a friend in her rank. Another one-star female servant has finally arrived. Charlotte Corday. The existence of the latecomer one-star assassin Charlotte Corday, the new kid on the block, didn't seem like much of a threat to our OG one-star assassin Mata Hari at first, but things started to go sideways pretty fast. Charlotte, with her cute, innocent design and surprisingly interesting skill set, began winning over players. Slowly but surely, Mata Hari found herself cast into the shadows of her newer, flashier neighbor. Mata Hari, who used to be front and center in the banner, has now been replaced by Charlotte and a few other servants. And since this is the Friend Point Gacha, it's likely that Mata Hari will never appear on the banner again. But that's not even the worst part. To make matters worse, Mata Hari's animations are seriously outdated compared to Charlotte's. You know how FGO's animations were in the early days, right? A lot of magic-based servants basically did the same caster ball move for ranged attacks. Well, almost everyone, but you get the point. It was boring and lacked variety. On the other hand, Charlotte's animations are modern and super agile. She's got knife tricks, throws stuff, and even has close-quarters combat. Players were hooked from the get-go. Sure, they debuted in different years, so it makes sense that there's a huge difference. But this gap has only pushed Mata Hari further into obscurity, making her almost invisible to masters. It's not just about the animations, let's be real. one of FGO's main selling points is the allure of the female servants. Beyond their designs, their personalities and voice packs are a huge draw, especially with top-tier voice actors bringing them to life. Mata Hari's whole vibe was supposed to channel the classic Femme Fatale spy, stealthy, seductive, and dangerous. That's literally her backstory. A spy and assassin who toyed with men's hearts. Well, she is quite seductive. But I feel like that's not nearly enough, while she is slightly seducing the protagonist. At least on the outside, she's more like the cool, supportive big sister. Honestly, she and Boudica give off almost the same energy. Now, for Charlotte Corday. While Mata Hari is more laid back, Charlotte's got game. She doesn't just exist, she actively falls for the protagonist. Just look at the difference in their dialogues. She's way more forward in flirting with Fujimaru. And not just that, her dialogues are longer and more varied. Without even trying, Charlotte brings just as much charm as Mata Hari, but she seals the deal by being bold and flirty, hitting players right in the feels while looking good doing it. I mean, you've seen her assets, right? They're on par with Mata Hari's. And yeah, once again, Mata Hari gets overshadowed. Story-wise, Mata Hari also gets left in the dust. Sure, she had her moment in Epic of Remnant, Salem, but let's be real, she wasn't the star. She's more of a side character. At least in the manga we get more. But in comparison, it's not there. For Charlotte, she stepped into Atlantis and straight up stole the show. Lost Belt 5 was one of the most impactful chapters in my opinion, and Charlotte was front and center, playing a critical role by actually taking down Lost Belt Odysseus. You see? I feel like their treatment is kinda different. I guess it's their debut year, so their gimmick and story quality are different. I'm not saying all this because I hate Mata Hari. Not at all. In fact, I actually feel sorry for her. Sure, she got a rank-up quest, and I know there are people out there who've grailed her to level 120. And yeah, with the right team setup, she can be useful. But I don't know, it feels like she needs more spotlight in the story. Us players can grail her all we want, slap on the best craft essences, but if she's not getting any meaningful story involvement, she's always going to be left behind. Remember, being a one-star servant doesn't mean she's bad, right? Just look at Kojiro. He's a fan favorite. Even Jason became an iconic one-star fighter. In Okeanos, everyone thought Jason was trash. You could even call him the Shinji of the Sea. But after his story push in Atlantis, everyone remembers him as the captain of the Argonauts who fought epically in his own unique way. That's the kind of boost Mata Hari needs, in my opinion. But maybe it's because FGO is constantly adding new servants, and as more unique designs come in, people's interests naturally shift, right? Maybe the developers have already accepted that Mata Hari's time has passed. That's how it feels to me. You want to know what made me even more convinced they've given up on her? Remember when I said Mata Hari finally got her much-anticipated rank up during the 6th anniversary? Well, just a few weeks later, Charlotte swoops in with a 4-star summer version. Yep. While Mata Hari's long-awaited buff felt like a win for her fans, Charlotte got the real prize. A swimsuit, flashy animations, and all the summer event hype. At that moment, it was clear. Mata Hari may have gotten a gift. But Charlotte walked away with the crown, leaving Mata Hari in the shadows once again. What do you think? Am I right? Or do you have another take? Click subscribe, like, and leave a comment so I don't run out of ideas.